Welcome back to Better Pet Parents, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. Today we're going to be talking about the proper way to wash a dog. Please keep in mind during this video that we are talking about dogs and not cats. You're with me again in my mobile grooming van, and I have this little lovely assistant today with us to talk about bathing our dogs. So the first thing that we're going to do is mention again, like I've mentioned in some previous videos, that the easiest way to wash your dog is with a handheld shower head. And that way you're not trying to submerge your pet in water or you have a lot of splashing around like that. So the best way to have control while bathing your dog is with a handheld shower head. Just letting this water heat up. And while that's happening, just want to go ahead and mention, I'm going to clean his ears with some ear cleaner and a cotton ball. And when you do this, you're just going to put ear cleaner on a cotton ball and rub it around in there gently within the ear canal. To tell my clients that if they're going to wash their dogs at home, it's a good idea to put cotton down in the ear so that water during the bath doesn't get down in the ear canal and cause an ear infection. So I'm sticking cotton down in his ear. And please know that if you put cotton in your dog's ears, to remember to take that out when you're through washing your dog, and don't be the person who forgets to take that out. Okay, so when we're washing our dog's face, we're just going to kind of hold on to the chin and tilt the head back so that you're not getting water down in the nose. Just kind of gently hold on to their face. And always remember that when you're washing your dog's face, to use a shampoo that is tearless. It will say tearless on the bottle. I'm using a tearless shampoo on him. So on the head, you can just use a tearless shampoo, and that way you know that when you scrub in front of their eyes that you're not going to be causing any damage to the eyes. You can just give them a little nice head massage while you're washing their head. And if you have a pet that has a tendency to have eye discharge, what you can do is you can buy what's called a flea comb. I'm about to use a flea comb on him, so you'll know that that's what I'm using. So you'll lather the head with a tearless shampoo, and you can lather right there in front of the eyes. And if they have like some dried up eye discharge on there, you'll just take that flea comb, and that's what this is, while the soap is on there, and just gently remove that from in front of the eye with the help of that soap easing that off of there. And so just gently hold on to their face and use that flea comb to remove that debris there, because it's a lot easier to remove that buildup when they're wet versus when that's dry, obviously. Okay, and now I'm going to rinse his head. He's probably going to give us a nice shake here in a minute. Okay, and then again, remove the cotton so that you're not leaving that in there for a future problem. And then you can move on to the body. So wet the body. And this obviously is pretty self-explanatory with washing their body. And then you'll put whatever shampoo you're using, lather, and then rinse. The main tutorial here was mostly about his face. remind my clients that when you're washing your animals, always keep in mind which way the joints in their body move, because a lot of people have a tendency when they're messing around with like their dog's feet or their legs to want to like pull the leg up to the side, and that's not the way that the joint goes. The joint goes back and forth like your own hip. So when you think about your own hip, you don't want to lift your leg out to the side. So don't do the same with them. Try to always make sure that you're thinking about the way that the joints move, and especially with the back legs, that they move forward and back, and not to try to ask that leg to lift up to the side. So what I'm going to do while I'm washing him is also take a minute now to talk about shampoo. So it's important that you're all having a conversation with your veterinarian about which shampoo is right for your specific animal. If you have a dog that has really crusty skin or skin issues of any kind, then it's important that you ask your veterinarian what would be best to bathe them in. They might want you to use a medicated shampoo on some of those certain types of skin problems, and it's always nice to make sure that you're using what's right. It's always important not to bathe your animal too often. You know, a lot of people that bathe their animal once a week, that's too often, and they can have a tendency to dry their animal's skin out unintentionally by doing that. So I always just tell people all the time here at Better Pet Parents, to talk to your veterinarian about what's right for your pet's specific case, because it's always, every case is unique. And also, when it comes to washing our pets, it's really important to keep in mind that if you're using like a topical flea and tick preventative, that you give the drops on the back of the neck, that you are waiting an adequate amount of time after a bath before you administer that. So when a dog is washed and cleaned with shampoo, that kind of like strips the oil off of the hair, like their natural oils, and those natural oils help those flea and tick products get absorbed. So it's not a good idea to ever administer your topical flea and tick products like immediately after a bath or the day after a bath. You know, you really need to wait a few days after a bath before you're using that. And conversely, you don't want to put that on your animal and then immediately give them a bath, because you're just going to be washing it off. So it's important when it comes to topical flea and tick preventatives that you're waiting the right amount of time after a bath to give it, and that you're waiting the right amount of time before a bath to give it. So depending on what product you're using, that's an important question to ask your veterinarian also. Because you don't want to waste that product, and you don't want to strip that product away, so that then they don't have it in their system. Okay, so I've got him nice and lathered. Gonna give him a nice rinse here. He's been a very good boy for this video. And like I say, I just want to encourage everybody, talk with your vet about how often is the right answer for your dog that they need to be bathed. And talk about what shampoo is right for your dog's skin type. And talk about making sure that you know when to bathe the pet in conjunction with their flea and tick products. Obviously, if you're giving an oral flea and tick preventative, that's not an issue. But some shampoos are harsher than others about stripping the skin, you know, of products. So it's just an important thing to ask your veterinarian about. You know, a lot of people don't know that, and I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention today. And like I say, the main takeaways are that when you're washing your pet's head, always use tearless shampoo while you're doing that, and while the soap is on there is the best time to remove that eye discharge. with, like I say, a flea comb. And also the cotton balls down in the ears. You know, a lot of people say that if they have a dog that's like always battling chronic ear infections, that one of the most helpful things that they can do with that is to put cotton down in the ear while they're giving them a bath, so that excess moisture isn't making its way down into the ear canal. Make sure that you're giving them a thorough rinse, because if you do have any soap residue that's left on the skin after a bath and you're not rinsing that off thoroughly, it can give them a rash, obviously. So make sure that before you are finished, you know, that you really felt around good to make sure that none of that is left, especially back in behind the back legs is an area where a lot of people miss. Okay, so we're all through. Thank you so much for joining us again here at Better Pet Parents for this video on bathing your dog. If you have any questions, give us a shout. Make sure that you're having detailed conversations with your veterinarian about your pet's unique needs, and we sure do appreciate you being with us. Thanks for having us. See you next time.